Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just grabbing my food out real quick. I don't think I can sub in for Tony at this juncture. I'm a stream watcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, next time we play the game, we're immediately on the boss. Like, and like the longer we take on the boss, you know, the more XP we're gonna get. So it'll balance itself out. We'll get leveled enough. I don't know. I got like at least like 3 or 4 more traits. I feel like in those last few boss fights. But you know, I'm putting on my I put all my shit in like resistances now and range damage reduction and like health. It's like I feel like it's the only way I'm staying alive. Yeah, you'll get some of these things. Like only 4 of these traits were like the ones I started, which was like the health one. I don't know if you have that one, but like all the other ones I have, it's just like you just haven't gotten access to them yet because you're still behind.
Alright, we're talking about 2 exotic hand cannons that, depending on your input, they can be feeling anywhere from piss poor to mediocre to absolutely busted. These hand cannons are Crimson and Last Word. Yes, we're going to be combining both of these reviews together, considering that the Last Word and Crimson feel amazing on controller. I think many of my console users can attest to how good both of these weapons feel for them. Now, the other day I spoke really highly of the Last Word. I said that the Last Word was included in the range bump and Beyond Light sandbox updates, and that it was feeling phenomenal. Well, turns out your man spoke way too soon. You see, this is what happens when I don't actually sit down and range test weapons. I used to be able to do it at a whim on Greg or at the Tribute Hall. Now I gotta have somebody actually log into the game with me to range test. Now you see, Last Word still has damage fall off beginning at 19 meters. Now granted, when shooting from the hip, I mean, you can't really aim down sights anymore. You can, but that does drop your damage, thus extending that time to kill value. But while shooting from the hip, 19 meters or less, if you can land crits, it's a 3 crit kill in 0.53 seconds. Now, for mouse and keyboard users for a while now, Last Word was a weapon you had to consistently tab with. So despite it shooting at 225 rounds per minute, you could not really do that with Last Word, at least not on mouse and keyboard. You had to sit there and pace your shots, and I would say anywhere from 180 to 200 rounds per minute was the highest you could go when shooting with mouse and keyboard if you wanted to maintain accuracy. The weapon 100% has some level of bloom to it, and that's to keep mouse and keyboards reined in. You remember previously, Last Word was phenomenal for mouse and keyboard users, and not much for controller users. Well, the roles have reversed, because controller input players, by far, have the means to combat balloon, most notably due to a large amount of aim assists. And even though Last Word doesn't necessarily have a lot of aim assists to boast, with the increases to accuracy from hipfire grip, as well as fanfire itself, the Last Word is a auto-aiming machine for controller users. And I know I got console and controller players right now that are like wanting to kill me for saying this. Listen, I'm not saying that it's easy cheesy for you, I'm just saying that it's good. And if you're like me, you like to use things that feel good. Ace of Spades feels phenomenal for mouse and keyboard, and I would 100% continue to use Ace when I play mouse and keyboard. But hands down, if you say, hey, Cross, you got to go into a 1v1 with this guy, and you can only use Last Word, well, your man's about to boot up that controller. Now, despite the weapon not getting a range buff, was there any noticeable benefits whatsoever to the Last Word in Update 3.0? None that I could quantify. But there is something to say about Last Word in general, which might be a positive for you. Even though the weapon does still have damage fall off beginning at 19 meters, ghost bullets, especially for controller players, seem to not be that big of an issue all the way up to 25 meters. Now, granted, you're having significant damage fall off, especially considering you are shooting from the hip with this hand cannon, but overall, I felt like the weapon still maintained crit shots and just overall consistency past its damage fall off range. Whereas previously, it would just drop off. It wouldn't exist. Your bullets would enter Houdini land and disappear and make no visible contact. Now it feels like it still makes contact pretty consistently. Yes, your time to kill is extended due to that damage fall off, but you can at least get some damage on your enemies. Overall, Last Word still feels as good as it's ever felt, and it surprises me every time I play with Last Word on a controller. What's going to be even more surprising is when I can finally play on console at 60 frames per second when we finally do get that update, which I'm hearing is what, December 10th? Is that right? Fellas and ladies, a whole new world is about to be revealed to you. That field of view bump, alongside with that frame rate increase, you're gonna understand, if you don't already, that Last Word is a monster on your platform. Now, speaking of monsters, let's talk about Crimson. Now, even though Last Word didn't get a direct buff in its range, Crimson definitely did. This was one weapon type that has just been a confusing one all around. Let's be real, Crimson is just Red Death, and a lot of people would have just preferred Red Death over Crimson.
Yo, I'm about to boot up the stream real quick.
And that may
I don't know. It's hard to like explain where you're at, I guess. Um, no. I've only been playing like 9 or 10 days or something like that, or 2 weeks. But I'm through with like one of the storylines, but I'm like item level 12, 30 or something. Oh shit, I'm hearing myself coming back in the stream. No, I haven't. No, it actually it looks pretty good though. It's actually coming through pretty quality. Both of them are coming through pretty quality. Yeah, Destiny's pretty cool though. I like it.